Today on stream, I reacted to my ancient novel that I wrote back in 2019 at the ripe old age of 13 years old. You know, it's a canon event that at least once in their lives, every teenage girl will write a story that then never sees the light of day. So I'm bringing mine out into the light of day and then never again because it's that awful. This will probably be a video series because it took 2 hours to get through 20 pages of a 150-page novel. I was really dedicated to this thing. So if you do enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe so you can see all the other parts of this series. If they're out yet, I don't know. But either way, enjoy the video. And it was lockdown too, like, oh no, it was before lockdown, so not the most fun time of my life. This is the story of how my life ended.
This is the story of how I died.
Just kidding, not really. Great start. But believe me, my life has very nearly come to an end many times, because this is the story of how my two best friends, I smell a love triangle, and I came to be in a strange world that no human had ever set foot on before. The name's Twilight. Yes, today class we're gonna take a roll. Here we got Ashton Woodsphere. We got Edward Smokestrap. And Twilight Wolfsbane. What are these names? Yeah, we've already ticked off 2 bingo things and we're not even halfway on the first page. I remember making an edit to the original document because I was like, oh, you know, Twilight, that's not a very realistic name. Let's change it to Amethyst. The name's Twilight, but my friends call me Twilly. My life has been very abnormal. My best friends are Ashton Woodsphere and Edward Smokestrap, and we all go to Hazelwood Intermediate. And then this next bit's crossed out. And I will admit to being a bit of a teacher's pet. I can't help it. I like maths and spelling and algebra and whatever. Eddie and Ash are good at it too. I guess it's just the way we roll around here. This is the worst!
This is the worst!
I already hate this! Oh, and before I continue, let me just mention my mother.
She's dead.
She died in a car crash when I was about 9, leaving me and my dad. Not the dead parent. The dead parent. We've crossed off all 3 of like the first 3 things, and we're still on the first page. And this next bit was also crossed out. Samuel Crusher Brown, the class. That's such a basic name. The class/school bully. Ash, Ed, and I seem to be his favorite targets. Target.
You know, your jumper looks like the cafeteria after lunch.
He jeered. My mother knitted this jumper brown, I shouted. You know that, full well, I cried, feeling the tears spring into my eyes. The fact that I know who knitted it doesn't change the fact that it's still the butt-ugliest thing in the world. What was I on at 13 years old? Oh yeah, well, you can't, you're just a... Words failed me. Bring on the waterworks. I'm gonna have so much fun editing this video. As we all went to our next classes, I silently sent an apology to my mum. Or my mom, guys, my mom. If I hadn't stuck up for myself, for my friends, or for my mom, I swore to myself to not let that happen again. My mother had meant the world to me. Crossed out because this was just too much. When she left, it shattered my heart into a million pieces. Every day after school, I visit her. Well, her grave. I'm going to jump off a cliff. I walked down the rows upon rows of headstones until at last I found hers, my mother's grave. My eyes filled with tears as I remembered that fatal night. My reaction to the awful news. My reaction to this awful news is I want to go throw up. My eyes are filled with tears. This is horrible writing. I was on something that day. Anyway, flashback time. Guys, are you ready? It is a calm night. All is well. Adriana leaves the party with a few friends. They all hop in the small car. Suddenly, as they're driving past the cemetery, the car lurches violently to one side. Narrowly missing the car in the other lane, Mum had a bit to drink, oh dear. The car swivels out of control. Screams arise from the back seat until the car crashes through the cemetery gates and rolls down the slight incline. Oh no, slight incline. That's really gonna do some damage. The screams start again just as the ambulance and police pull over into the cemetery. Well, they got there fast. They go up to the first one's house. A bearded man comes to the door with a young blonde girl behind him. By the way, that was me at age 9. Days later, 3 memorial headstones are laid out. The mood is solemn, sad, remembering. And that's it. They're dead. Crossed out. Everyone came to our house for weeks, offering food and gifts to say sorry for our loss. And it wasn't just my mum. It wasn't just my mom. It wasn't just my mom. It was Ash's dad and Eddie's mom. I knelt down by the 3 headstones. I pulled some flowers from my bag. Girlie was really carrying a bunch of lilies in her bag all day. As I sat there remembering, I didn't hear the footsteps of Eddie and Ash coming up behind me. Twilight? Ash murmured. Oh. Hey guys. I whispered, avoiding their eyes. I can't do this. I can't do this. This is so stupid. One day I'm gonna have kids, right? I'm really wanting kids. One day a video is gonna come. This video is gonna come up on the recommended. They're gonna be like, oh hey, that looks like Mum. That looks like Mum. That's so cool. That's so cool, guys. You know, my mum did YouTube videos. I wonder why she's never mentioned it to me. My future kid clicks on the video and it's like, oh, I can see why she never mentioned. Okay, we are only like 3 pages in, guys. This is gonna be a long stream. So, you guys remembered too, not just me. I smiled as I tucked a stray bit of my dark blonde hair behind my ear. We all looked at each other and said nothing. That's when the melody started. A sweet melody arose from the headstones behind us. I looked up.
Guys?
I said with uncertainty. The noise was deafening, like a soundtrack from your worst nightmare put on maximum volume. We clamped our hands over our ears. Realistically, right? No one else heard that? If it was that loud? If it was me, I would have thought the rapture was happening or something. Like, what do you mean, like, no one, like, noticed? Let's get out of here, we all shouted at the same time. But as we scrambled to get out of there, something lashed out at Ash. What in the name of... A long green vine wrapped itself around Ash's legs and pulled him back towards the gravestone. Eddie grabbed a fallen branch, just from out of nowhere, fallen branch, and whacked the thick loop that imprisoned Ash's feet. No result. No! I can't swear on this channel. No, duh! No result. Scary vine. Whack, whack. 13-year-old cat feeling like the master right now. I thought I was the next, like, Suzanne Collins, bro. I really thought I was gonna be like...
Oh my goodness, someone's gonna notice me. I'm gonna get, like, published with a movie.
I really thought I did something there. Eddie and I grasped the vine and pulled like never before. The vine snapped. Okay, so let me get this straight. Right? All we had to do was just grab it. Say, no, stop.
I don't like it.
And it snaps. Really? We looked back at the gravestone. Everything went quiet. Oh, okay, just had to, snap the vine in half and boom, things sorted. There's not a love triangle yet, it's just the 2 best friends and they happen to be male. It is gay. Okay, to be fair, at 13, I did not know what gay meant. So, no. Sadly, no little gay men in this novel. I next stream, I should write a sequel to this. Actually, I think I did start writing a sequel, actually. But we'll get to that. We scrambled out of the cemetery as fast as our legs could take us. I woke the next morning to a blurry memory. Everything came back to me in broken fragments. Eventually, I remembered the previous afternoon's events. Ha! What a silly dream, I muttered. A large purple bruise had formed on the side of my left leg where the vine had struck me. I couldn't believe it. It had happened. I threw some clothes on and raced down the stairs. Do you reckon she tossed her hair up in a messy bun as well and put it in an oversized hoodie? She's gonna go downstairs and find out she's been sold to One Direction or something. I popped the kettle on, slammed the toaster button down, and sat down to read the morning newspaper. What 12-year-old reads the morning paper? Even I don't read the morning paper. My dad doesn't. I don't even think my dad reads the morning paper. On the front page, a blazing headline glared back at me. 7 more people missing! I'm having too much fun with this. A few months after my mum died, people went missing all over the town. It's been 4 years, and they haven't figured it out. They haven't made a connection. Oh yeah, people have been missing for 4 years, mainly in Twilight's area. Oh, maybe there's,
a mass murder on the loose.
But no, it's just, people disappearing after this kid's mum died, 100% not connected. Are we sure the mum just, okay, hear me out, look. The mum's body was never found, right? She disappears, people start going missing. For all we know, this kid's mum is a mass murderer who's just hiding out in the woods or something and killing people, and there's no bodies. The mum is a mass murderer is what I'm saying. Scientists are baffled at what might have killed these unfortunate people. These unfortunate people! Man, these people are so unfortunate to have lost their lives and gone missing. I guarantee you, if I was on the internet at an earlier age and I knew what FNAF was, I guarantee you I would have written FNAF fanfictions. Because the fandom I was in, I have written fanfictions for. But that's another stream. And we couldn't find any unusual substances, chemicals or poison in any of them. But the weird thing is that we noticed is that all of the bodies have been found in the same found in the same cemetery. All 6 of them have been found in front of the same gravestone with a vine. This is just the grave killer. This is the patterns of a serial killer right here. And they're not these idiots, these morons, these buffoons. The same place, and they don't realize they have a serial killer on their hands, guys, and they don't even realize. These idiots. This is how horror movies start. I stopped reading and threw the newspaper down. Something broke. She threw the newspaper down. What? That's almost exactly what happened to me at an Ash yesterday. That's almost exactly what happened to Ash yesterday, I said to myself in disbelief. I threw some lunch money in my bag, cleared my disheveled ponytail up. There we go! We got the messy bun! That's the closest we're getting to the messy bun! I ran out to the bus stop and waited. I flicked a text to Ash and Eddie. You guys on the bus? Moments later, the simultaneous reply came through, but I didn't like what I saw. If you can call it that. SB and morons here too. So, they live on the same street, right? They live on the same street, but they don't catch the bus together?
Rude.
If my best friends lived on the same street, I'd wait for them. At least. I winced. SB equals Sam Brown. The bully. I hastily took my jumper that Sam had criticized the day before and stuffed it in my bag, just as the bus came careening around the... What a word, careening. Careening around the corner. It came to a sudden halt with a painful screech. It sounded like a chorus of 1,000 cats that had not turned up to rehearsals. What a line! Absolute cinema. Everyone on the bus was thrown forward in a heap. I paid for my ticket and went over to where Ash and Eddie ended up. This is the most unrealistic, stereotypically American sentence I've ever read. dangling from a chair by their underpants. Sorry, no, dangling from the window by their underpants. Sam had obviously given them a turbo wedgie. That is the most... I even crossed that bit out. Yeah, hey guys, all good? No, they're dangling by their pants from the window. Yeah, but no, other than that, they're good. They're good. They're just chilling from the... I need to clean my glasses, hold on. Clean my glasses so I can see the amount of bull crap that is in this novel. Hey guys, all good? I asked, helping them up. Up from where? They are dangling on the window. They do not need to go up anywhere.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
I'm so fed up. Long silence. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ah, how sweet. Ash and Twilly, the widow of Boyd's, mocked a mean voice behind us. Ash and Twilly sitting in a tree. Kissing, Sam sung, twirling around with a fake smile. Or actually, it was more of a smirk. I blushed, but Ash blushed even harder. Think you guys might be onto something with the prediction. After what seemed like forever, the bus finally came to a stop in front of the school. I wasn't the only one still blushing with embarrassment. Ash couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Ash, wait!
I cried, sprinting after him. I'm gonna actually cry this. Ash, wait! I cried, sprinting after him. But it was too late. Actually, no, I think... Wait. This might have been based off my crush in intermediate. This might have... Anyway. Well, anything's better than listening to Sam Brown rubbing in the fact that he almost broke my back in dodgeball. And then what? And then it what? What? Hold on. Hold on. This next sentence is wild. I don't know if I want to say that on stream. I'm gonna say it anyway. Anything's better than listening to Sam Brown rubbing in the fact that he almost broke my back in dodgeball and that he creamed us and creamed us good over and over, I suppose. Excuse me? Begging your finest pardon? He what? I think the context behind that was like creamed as in like wiped out, like, you know what, I can't even justify that. That's just awful writing. Really poor choice of words. As someone who really did not know anything in terms of terms, I don't know if I want to continue this anymore. I don't want to do this no more, Grandpa.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
Okay. My stomach hurts. Oh, right, he creamed us and creamed us good. Oh, that is awful, poor choice of writing from 13-year-old me. I met Eddie at the front of the stores. I can't, that is such awful writing. That is such awful writing. Ash, where were you? I cried, running over to him. Ash looked over his shoulder, hesitantly, as if looking out for someone. I was in the computer lab, he said in a low voice. Of course, he was studying for the maths test next week, Eddie muttered under his breath, looking a bit annoyed. Ash heard him. Well, actually, I was looking up some info about the missing people. He took a deep breath. Twilly, none of them was recorded as dead. Plot twist. Wow.
Wow.
Shocking. This next bit is absolute cinema. This piece of news hit me like a dodgeball, but twice as hard as the ones that had hit me today. It's like, oh, they weren't recorded as dead. Ow, dodgeballs, hurts my head. This is such big news. Oh my goodness. Whatever will I do? That actually hurt my head. Right, I'll see you tomorrow, I said, at the graveyard. Dad wiped the smiles right off their faces. The graveyard? Ash said, aghast. I'd better get going, I smiled, brushing a dark blonde wave of hair from my face and tucking it behind my ear. And that... and with that, she died. End of the story. I sprinted into my home away from home. That's right, the library. The library. I went to the top read section and picked up the latest Jacqueline Wilson book. I guess that was just whatever I was reading at the time, and started reading. That's my number one weakness in the library. Reading books. What? How dare she read a book in the library? Book found in kitchen? Book found in library? How dare she read in the library? When Dad finally got in the car, we drove straight back home. Well, after stopping at McDonald's for a frozen Coke, of course. Dad insisted on buying 2 large frozen drinks to celebrate the very rare occasion of him finally getting out of the house after 4 years. Why?
Why?
Why? After 4 years, did you decide, yeah, I'm gonna go out of the house today, go to the library, look at naked ladies on websites, and get a frozen Coke? But as we pulled out of the drive-thru, something, I'm not even sure if it was a car or not, zoomed in behind us and went smack into the rear of the car. Dad swerved out of control and steered the car into many of the... What? Into one of the many cliff faces along the road? I screamed as I was propelled forward in my seat. Dad panicked, of course he would. The rest of it was a blur. I remember seeing the shocked faces of people on the sidewalk. The last thing I remember was my dad hugging me and saying the most 3 beautiful words ever that I will never, ever, ever forget. I love you. Lord. The first thing I noticed when I woke up, we're gonna get like a double dead parent. Is it double dead parent? Bro's got to look at a origin story. It's gonna turn into Batman. Double dead parent. Bro leaves the house after 4 years, dies immediately. The first thing I noticed when I woke up was that Dad's arms were no longer around me. Everything was white. It was also very blurry. Where on earth am I? And what the heck is happening here? But all that came out was a simplified gurgle of oomph. A simplified gurgle of oomph? You can't get much more simple than that, honey. Like, a simplified gurgle of oomph. I then heard a very kind voice say, "It'll be alright, dear. Thank goodness you're alive." She said under her breath happily. I felt happy too, to be alive, as you would. How long have I been unconscious? About 8 hours. Yeah, really realistic. Came the reply from someone behind the other people. About 8? Does my dad know about this? I shrieked frantically. So suddenly she goes from imph to, does my dad know about this? It's called sleeping, exactly. Ro just fell asleep. Like, I wish I could be unconscious for 8 hours. I want to be unconscious for 8 hours. Maybe I should get in a no. Okay. My heart sunk to the very tip of my toes. Even though I knew it was coming, I didn't want to believe it. Where is he? I choked back tears. Janine took a deep breath. She looked as sad as the other doctors. Twilight, when you and your father crashed into the cliff face... Why do I sound like Jennifer Coolidge? When you and your father crashed into the cliff face, Only one of the airbags managed to work. The other malfunctioned. When the windshield shattered, the airbag shielded most of you except for one part. Except for a small but quite dangerous shard of glass lodged itself a few centimeters deep into your left shoulder. Unfortunately, the surgery left a bit of a scar. He gestured to my shoulder. I rolled in my sleep, and sure enough, a jagged scar looked back at me. Wow, we got Miss Harry Potter over here. Wow, okay, no, even better. It was bright red and purple, and shaped roughly like one half of a broken heart. You mean to tell me, Miss Girl, right? You mean to tell me this girl was like, oh yeah, car crash, and all she like left with a car crash that killed another person, and all she got and all that happened to her was she was asleep for 8 hours, perfectly normal, and she's left with this on her shoulder? No bruise, well, I mean, I'm sure bruises or something. Are you kidding me? The luck of some people? Well, not luck, both her parents are dead now, but honestly. I know it's nothing like Harry Potter, said the redhead, but she trailed off shrugging as if to say, that's life. You know, it's life. You know, my mum dies 4 years ago in a weird accident and she's probably a serial killer. My dad dies after leaving the house for the first time in 4 years. And, you know, just a heart-shaped scar. That's life. Happens to everyone. No biggie. By then it was very late. The screens on the nearby devices flashed 10:38 p.m. at me. I closed my eyes and hoped it was all a bad dream. Okay, so hold on a minute. Let's go do some maths real quick. Let's see, it was like after school. So that's what, 3 p.m? They were maybe at the library for like, realistically, 3 hours maybe. Not even that, like maybe like 1 hour. So that we'll take to 5 p.m. 8 hours later, I believe, is not 10:38 p.m, but actually, in fact, not 10:38 p.m. The maths is not mathing, ladies and gentlemen. I woke up the next morning to find myself intensely studying the insides of my eyelids. Yep, that usually happens when you wake up. Your eyes are closed. That's about the exact moment when I remembered everything. The graveyard, the library, McDonald's, the crash. I remembered the emotional conversation the night before about what had happened to my dad. I looked at the clock. 7:18 a.m. If I was woken up the morning after at 7:18 a.m. or 7 a.m., I would sue the hospital. Genuinely, I would just be like, let me rest. I accessed my messages quickly. Ash had text, we're here. Eddie had text, where are you? I replied, you haven't read haven't read the news yet, have you? Yeah, because these news people do a great job of reporting. The unfortunate victim died, like, yeah, very unfortunate. I hit send and waited. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Eddie was the first to reply. What the heck, where are you? What happened? Shortly after, Eddie came rushing in, followed by Ash. Scarlet came too, just seconds after the boys, out of breath. Sorry, Twilly. I couldn't stop them, she gasped, leaning on the doorway. It's fine. Twilly, where's your dad? Oh, Eddie caught on as well. Twilight, I'm really sorry, he said quietly. Ash nodded. Yeah, me too. So, on a not really related note, wow, moving on. So, I'm so sorry, you've just lost your only parent left, you know, you're gonna have to go into you're an orphan, you know, you have no source of income, you're 12, Probably gonna have to go into the foster system. But anyway, we were going to meet at the graveyard, remember? Wow. Well, I guess, I shrugged. I don't know if I'm going anywhere in a hurry, though. I gestured to my wheelchair. After I said goodbye to Janine, Scarlett, and Sean, me and the boys left, speechless. There wasn't anything to say, I guess. Eddie's dad was waiting for us in the car. Hey, Twilly. Sorry about your dad. The tactlessness of some people! On the drive home, no one spoke. When we finally pulled into the driveway, their record remained unbroken. Thanks, Mr. Smokestrap. Shit, the dude really just dropped this 12-year-old kid off at home. Puts her in the wheelchair and leaves. Just straight up, yep, you're on your own now, kid. I hesitated, then went into my dad's room. I reached into his wardrobe. Yeah, because that's the most logical thing to do. It's like, my dad died, I'm gonna rummage through his stuff. And pulled out a magnificent wooden box. Dad had always told me that his will was inside it. I opened it with trembling fingers. A rolled up yellowed piece of parchment lay inside. It was tied with a red ribbon, yeah, because that's how people do their wills. They roll it up and like an ancient scroll. Dear Twilight, I'm so sorry I had to leave you. Everything in this house is yours. Love from your father. Wow. Talk about heartfelt. Wow, that really touched me. That really tugged at my heartstrings there. I think I feel a tear leaking out from all the emotion. Oh wait, no, that's just shame and disappointment at myself. Right. The next day, it was Sunday. I tried calling Ed's house, then Ash's. The parents both said they'd gone out. As I hung up the phone with both their parents, I realized it could only mean one thing. They'd already gone to the graveyard. I thought with excitement, yeah, because the first thing you're gonna do once you come back from the hospital is the next morning you're gonna go to the graveyard and go on an adventure. Yeah, checks out. I started to head to the front door, but remembered. Looked down at my set of wheels. It's like being like, oh, I can't wait to go. Oh. I wheeled out the driveway as fast as I could and raced down the road to the cemetery. Good timing, I thought. Good timing indeed. Ash and Eddie had just gone through the gates. Didn't expect to see you here, Twilight. They were gonna go on the adventure without her? Eddie must have sensed I was about to start crying again, because he decided to change the subject. So, we're all here, he began. What do we do now? So logical. Well, I said thoughtfully, we could try and find the vine again. We started walking, or wheeling, down to where we last saw the vine, my mother's grave. Suddenly, while I was distracted looking over my shoulder, the vine curled itself around my leg and yanked me high up out of my wheelchair. When the vine finally stopped pulling me into the air, Ed and Ash were staring up at me, mouths gaping. I was at least 10 feet in the air. Are you alright? Ash mumbled, unsure of what to say. It's like, hey, so you're kind of in a bit of a life or death situation up there. You good girl? The boys started talking in their normal voices about how to get me down. Unfortunately, their normal voices weren't loud enough for me to hear from where I was dangling. Yeah, because you're not going to hear whispers from 10 feet away. Guys? Guys? Hello? Boys? I called down, but they were so engrossed in finding a strategy to get me down that they completely forgot about me. Ed struck the vine as hard as he could. The vine flinched for a second before flinging me high into my ear. Oh, she's dead. She's gone. She's a goner. Ah! I screamed loudly as I soared into the clouds. I was screaming 100 feet in the air at least, falling. She's falling really slowly. A sudden purple light blinded us, and a mysterious gale blew the boys off their feet. As a giant portal sucked me in closer and closer to the ground, I yelled out to the boys. I'm trying to visualize this in my head. So I think it's like, okay, hang on. There we go, we have an illustrated novel now. There's Miss Girl falling to her death, being sucked in by the portal, and then there's the vine. You know, really, yeah, anyway. Just before I was sucked up for good, I closed my eyes. But as I did, the last thing I saw was the portal's purple walls closing in around me. Then Ash and then Ed falling above me, arms and legs waving around. And then after hours and hours, okay, minutes, we started free falling. They're still falling! We landed on a hard, fuzzy green surface. Yup, that's right. Grass. Finally, someone's touching grass. So, is that why you call a purple Peter? So, is that what you call a purple people eater? Ed grinned at me. Wow, really funny. Haha, yeah, definitely. I laughed. Yeah, really making humor out of the situation. Oh. Where are we? Ash groaned, rubbing his head. Yeah, I reckon we'll end there. Yeah, that was a good stream. This will be part 1 of the video. Part 2 will come out eventually. Bye! I'll see you in the next stream, next video.